Well, let's talk now to our correspondent, Trent Murray, who's in the Turkish city of Malatya. So, Trent, the 72-hour window has now passed where the survival rate drops. Are rescuers still hopeful?
Well, Robin, certainly where I am, they appear to be. The fires have been lit once again. The spotlights are being switched back on, and they are setting in for a long night ahead of continuing to search. What I can tell you is that just behind me in that collapsed building, you might be able to see a really big group of rescuers. That is because we have learned in the past couple of hours that a thermal imaging camera that was being used on that building did actually detect a person under the rubble. Now, paramedics have been trying to speak to them, make contact with them. They are saying they're not responsive, but they still believe there's a hope that they could be alive and pulled out. And that is why they are now delicately going through that rubble to try and pull them out. There is an ambulance here waiting to provide medical aid, if indeed they are still alive. This particular site earlier saw a pregnant mother and her two children also pulled out alive. We have sadly learned just before coming on air that one of the children succumbed to their injuries. However, the mother and the other child are now in a stable condition in the hospital. It is those types of stories, Robin, which are playing out across this region and which I think are going to continue to fuel rescue efforts throughout the night, because they are just not going to give up hope, even though, as you say, we are past that critical window of survival now.
And Trent, for those people who have survived, how difficult are conditions there?
Look, it's extremely difficult in many ways. I mean, it is cold. It's going to drop to around -7 right now. There are still the aftershocks, of course, which are being felt in parts. And so many of the buildings, especially that I'm seeing here in Malatya, that are still upstanding, they have just been knocked around so heavily that it seems like even a small gust of wind could now blow them over. They're too dangerous for people to return to. So what we are seeing is many families have come today, very quickly run up to the apartment, packed a bag, and then left in a car to try and go to somewhere a little bit safer. Of course, a lot of places like universities and sporting facilities and community centres have opened their doors for emergency accommodation. It just seems the priority right now is trying to find somewhere for people to give them something hot to eat, a blanket, somewhere to sleep, and then perhaps worry about the more medium-term plan of where to place them in emergency accommodation after.
Well, Trent, we can hear lots of activity behind you as rescuers continue to try and find that person they believe to be beneath the rubble. Who are the people working on this rescue? Who's come to help?
Look, it is just a huge group of people that have come together. You have got people from the official AFAD, the Disaster Response Agency. You have got police officers. You have got paramedics. You've got many young soldiers, I should say, which are doing their national service that are here helping. And then, of course, you've got members from the NGO sector and community and charities. That international help is starting to also arrive. I haven't seen a lot of it yet in Malatya, but I do understand that it is here. I suppose it's probably worth mentioning as well just the volunteers. I mean, I can barely do a live position on air to you right now without somebody wanting to come up and offer me something to eat or a hot drink or to try and pull me towards the fire to keep warm. There's just such a spirit of generosity and kindness here, which really is very inspiring given the absolutely awful circumstances that so many of these people have experienced.
Trent, thank you very much. Our correspondent, Trent Murray, in the Turkish city of Malatya.